So I wasn't going to make a video on this originally because I already talked about it enough on my Twitch channel and Twitter. But you guys don't know yet, so I wanted to fill you in on the information and the news and what's going on. I've been banned from Games Done Quick until 2021 from submitting runs, and my run was effectively since Wednesday, pulled from the event. So I'm going to talk about what happened and my thoughts on it and so forth, just so you guys have an idea what's going on right now. So on Wednesday, I checked my Discord server. People posted a picture of the schedule. My run wasn't on it. They were confused. They wanted to know what was going on, and I checked my email to see if I got any word on it, and I got the email that said that you've been banned. And this is, again, since then, this is the only information we've gotten from Games Done Quick. They haven't made any announcements officially or anything. All we really gotten from them is the run being removed from the schedule, the email that said you were banned for zero tolerance harassment policies, and then the next email that I got later, which we'll talk about, that explained why I got banned. So right now we're on the second thing. We're on the email, the first email that I got that said that I was removed from the event, and they didn't give a reason why. So my first initial reaction was what could I have possibly done? The only thing I could possibly think of, which sounds just kind of silly that I could have gotten banned for, I feel like they would not ban somebody over this unless it was clipped out of context and reported, was the day before. There was a discussion in my stream about Etika's legacy and his death, and how, and we were just pretty much just mourning his death and talking about, what we can learn from this and how he does not have to die in vain. And there was a kid in my chat with a troll account, pretty much starting a ruckus, saying that I was responsible for it, other people were responsible for it, trivializing it, saying it's not a big deal and whatnot. So I pretty much ranted at him for a few minutes about how awful that is and how sick of a person he is and that he needs to get help and stuff like that. So again, probably shouldn't have done that, but that was my original reaction to what might have been the reason why I got banned. So I tweeted about it, and I tried to make it as clear as possible that I don't know what's going on. So I just wanted to address that first, that there might have been a misconception that was the reason why I got banned. It wasn't. That was my first reaction. I wanted to give my followers something that they could, just interpret and think about and have some kind of I guess not comfort, but you know what I'm saying. They have something to think about, wonder why, not have to be completely in the dark of why it could possibly be happening. So I wanted to just let them know, give them something to think about. And maybe it was wrong to make an assumption, but that was the only thing that I could assume would have possibly been it, because it was a day before, and I kind of crossed the line, calling people sick in the head and stuff like that. But I still felt like Games Done Quick was not going to be trigger happy over something like that. So I started my stream, and while I was streaming, 3.5 hours after the original email was sent to me, I checked my email, and it said that I was banned. They clarified that I was banned for use of homophobic language is what it said. And my first reaction when I saw this is I was very surprised and frustrated because I had no idea what they were talking about. It really angered me that they would accuse me of this, because I did not have anything in recent memory that I'd done like that at all. And then I thought back to a year ago when I was banned from Twitch for a month for actually using the F slur on my stream one time. And obviously this is something that back then I was already very apologetic and remorseful for, despite people telling me that hey, it's a word that people use, man. That doesn't mean what people used to use it for all these years ago. Despite people telling me that when it happened initially a year ago, I was nah, man. People were offended by this. I have to change my vocabulary. I can't use the word ever again. I used it one too many times. One time was already too many. So again, you guys don't have to tell me this is okay. It's not okay. So when this happened, I took action to change my streaming environment, change my vocabulary. I tried to be a more positive person on stream, to demotivate people from trolling my chat and stuff, just to have just an overall more positive environment and a better stream overall. I used this mistake that I made in the summer of 2016 to like as more or less like a reason to like kickstart like the change that I needed to make in my stream, because back then it was getting really toxic either way. There are a lot of things that I regret about how I ran my stream back in the day, other than the thing that I said. So I wanted to use it as an opportunity to like change pretty much, and this happened a while ago. Like I feel like ever since the fall of the summer of ever since the fall of 2018, my stream's been a very different place, and we've kind of moved past this. Like again, I was apologized for it. I showed that I was capable of not only never using the word again, but changing my behavior, which is something that people didn't even ask for. I just took it upon myself to do that. And a year later, like the stream is a very different place. It's such a different environment where people aren't like ganging up on trolls and yelling at each other, and I'm not like roasting people in my chat. It's just not really the same kind of stream anymore. And it was just kind of upsetting to have this thrown back in my face about something that happened so long ago that I've moved past, because like again, being banned for 30 days on Twitch, not being able to do what you love, and then 2,000 hours of streaming later, like that much human interaction and gaining perspectives on people just kind of changes you, man. Like it's I'm telling you that this is like, again, when I said it, it was just a one-time thing, and people still thought it didn't align with my character. But I still had to prove to them that like this is not something that I want to use, even in my private life. I don't want to use this word anymore. Now that people are telling me that it's something that people get offended by like that, I just didn't think that the word was looked at that way anymore, and I was wrong. So again, like this is something that I changed a while ago. This is something that we made the effort to move past in the fall of last year, when I was unbanned and put on probation for Twitch for several months. So getting the news that this is the reason why I was banned, I thought immediately to myself, like, why was this being brought back to my attention? Especially 4 days earlier. More context, my run was not on the schedule until 4 days before I got the notice that it was taken off. So let me clarify that. I submitted my run to Games Done Quick, Summer Games Done Quick 2019. For 3 months, I was on the backup list, which means that if you get called up while you're at the event, they can say, hey, we want you to do the run, and then they pull you up as a replacement if something happens to the schedule. So after 3 months of being on backup, last weekend I got an email from Games Done Quick saying, hey, we want you to be in the event. Would you be down to do your Battle for Bikini Bottom run for us? And I'm like, sure, that sounds great. They said, we want you to go on Wednesday. Is that cool? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to be there on Wednesday anymore because I already rebooked my travel flights to accommodate for my stream. My stream's been doing really well lately, and I want to be there for my guys. So I rescheduled to only be there on Friday and Saturday. Would you be able to do something to help me with that? Because I could always change my flight. I can always change my flight to Wednesday if you need me to, but if you can possibly change it to Friday, that'd be great. And I wasn't expecting them to be so accommodating, but they said, sure, we'll switch it to Friday morning. How's that sound? And I said, well, I won't be there on Friday morning because my plane gets there in the afternoon. And they said, okay, Saturday morning. How's that sound? I'm like, great. But one more thing, I wanted to change my category from no SBA to any percent, because the community recently had a debate to switch the categories for like no SBA becoming a side category and any percent becoming the main category. So I wanted to show off the main category for the game and not the side category anymore. And they said, sure, that sounds fine too. So I just wanted to talk about that to illustrate how like gracious they were to have me in the event, and how accommodating they were to my schedule, to really like show, I guess, like they really wanted to have the run in. And I was really, I was flattered, and I was really happy that they were, after 6 straight rejections, I think, from the event, between like GDQXs and GDQ side events and the main GDQs, they were finally not only accepting the game, but they were going out of their way to make sure I could do the run and make it as easy for me as possible. So I thought that like things were finally starting to turn around. Like they really liked the game. And not only this, they announced on their Twitter a bit later that they wanted to have a community spotlight for the game shortly after the Summer Games Done Quick marathon concluded. So they wanted to do the community spotlight. They were trying as hard as they could to get me into the run. They were really showing a lot of interest in Battle for Bikini Bottom. So having them 4 days later just straight up say, without a reasoning or even an announcement or anything, just kind of stealth say to me in an email like, yo, your run's banned, or you're banned for the next year and a half, and your run's out. It was just such a shock, and I figured like there's no way they would just pull a 180 on me unless somebody reported me to them and purposefully tried to do this to me. So we found out later that there's an account on Twitter that is used to harass me and other people in the Battle for Bikini Bottom community. They make like tweets to like go out to my chat and like send people in there to harass me with very specific instructions on what to say. Again, a lot of these tweets were deleted, so we've saved as many as possible. We have screenshots of a lot of these tweets. Somebody in the community is compiling them right now in case it needs to be released eventually or shown to people in the future to try and like explain like literally anything, like because again, like you don't have context for the full picture yet. I'll explain why later. We have the screenshots to prove that these things were said. But yeah, pretty much the guy would just like, he'd harass me on Twitch. He'd harass people on Twitter. He'd post clips out of context to try and paint people in a bad light. Post like hateful rhetoric against people. Go into their chats and harass them, make fun of them. He posted pictures of people in the community asking for their identities. He threatened to show up at my college, which is not actually the college that I went to, but he was like trying to dox me, even though he's horrible at doxing. He tried to figure out which college I went to and threatened to show up and pay me a visit. So all this stuff put together, like this is before we realized that he was the one who reported it. I reported to James Gunn quick 2 days before I was taken out of the event. Like, hey, these guys threatened in the past to show up at my college, or what they thought was my college, and they've also asked for the identities of people based on pictures. This might be a danger because they said they were going to the event. Even if they're trolling or not, you should probably take caution that these guys might be there trying to harass people. So I showed the enforcement team the Twitter account, and they looked at it and they said, we can't find any identification on here. We can't figure out who this is, and there's no proof for it, so we can't do anything. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Just giving you a heads up. If somebody reports any suspicious behavior at the event, just link it back to this probably, if it has to do with people in the Battle for Bikini Bottom community, because that's who they were targeting. So again, like I showed the enforcement team this account, which really surprises me that later the same account, not only did they deactivated themselves after I announced that I was banned. They deactivated themselves because I guess they were trying to hide something. But I was able to make a tweet talking about how they deactivated to bait them to unlock the account. And they made this tweet about how they finally got me banned from the event. It was a huge accomplishment and all this. They were like parading around the fact that they apparently got me banned from the event. And this pretty much solidified that they probably reached out to James Gunn quick and reported me for the thing that I said a year ago. And yeah, it's just so sad to see, like, not only people just be this dedicated to trying to ruin someone's life like that, but also just like, I can't believe that Games Done Quick didn't put together the fact that like the Twitter account that I reported a few days earlier for the possibility of harassment at the event, and then the account goes ahead and reports, this clip. Maybe it wasn't done on the same account, but again, the fact that they deactivated the account like during the time when the thing was reported is just kind of sketchy to me, man. It just feels like they could have put together that like something was going on, like there was some targeted harassment going on toward me, that these people were digging things back from my past and using them against me, things that I've already apologized for and shown remorse for, more remorse and initiated the change than I was asked for when it happened. Because remember, when it happened, people did not think this was a big deal. They just said, you said a dumb word that you didn't mean. You're not like that as a person. Like, we get it, man. We're sorry that this happened to you. And even then, I was still like, no, man, I have to change my behavior to prove that this is not how I am as a person, even off my stream. And then a year later, when this surfaced, that again, like when I said, like, this is the reason why I was banned from Games Done Quick, the same reaction came. Like, it got all over like Reddit and like live stream fails and stuff like that. People were all saying like, this guy got done dirty. The event did him dirty. And again, like, I don't think the event is to blame for this, and I'll talk about that later. But the general reaction is the same as a year ago when this happened. That it's not a big deal that I said this, and even though I still feel like it is. Like, I'm just saying, like, I don't know why these trolls are still trying to hold this one thing that I did against me, that I did like such a long time ago, after 2,000 hours of streaming, after 30-day ban. I've had so much time to work on myself and think about this and just even completely remove this word from my vocabulary, and other words too that I wasn't even asked to remove from my vocabulary I've also removed. Just like taking a whole time to reflect on like who I am as a person, how I want to present myself, because the way I was presenting myself, or rather the way I presented myself in that one situation after 2 years of streaming, nothing like that had happened before. The one time I presented myself that way was not how I wanted to show people, like that's not who I am, and my word choice needs to reflect who I actually am as a person. I can't just use words that can be misinterpreted as something that I didn't mean. So I wanted to take initiative for myself, not because like I thought some people would think that I'm a bad person or whatnot. Like back then I wanted to take the initiative for myself to do this, even though I wasn't being asked to do it. And again, that's how I feel this time too. And even though people are saying like you just made a mistake a long time ago, man, I still want to take the initiative to go back and reflect on my past and like again, like offer forgiveness to people who have also made mistakes in the past and have had problems with me and whatnot. I made a paste bin on this, how I want people to reach out to me who have had issues with me in the past, try and clear things up, and offer them forgiveness if I believe that they actually are remorseful. And even like the guy who did this to me, who reported me and sent them like the information that I said this word back then. I have no idea what they could have possibly said to convince them to make this an issue, but I even offered them forgiveness on my stream. I said, listen, if you reach out and you're willing to show your true identity without being anonymous and say like, hey, I did this to you, I apologize. And then again, I was talking about the screenshots of the account that we got before a lot of the tweets were deleted. We missed a lot of them, but still we have plenty of them, and also chat messages of harassing people in the community. I said, if you want to look at this whole collage of things you've said to people over the past year, harassing them, if you want to do this, if you want to own up to it and take responsibility for it, then I will forgive you. I'm offering you forgiveness because I'd be a hypocrite for not forgiving somebody after I made a mistake, and people have forgiven me for it, and I'm asking for forgiveness. A long time ago, I asked for forgiveness. So again, I offered them this forgiveness and this kindness, and yet again, they're still making tweets. They're still harassing me in my chat. They're still arguing, because somebody on, I think, Livestream Fails found the Twitter account, and people posted it, and they're going in there and they're reading tweets. The guy yesterday was fighting with people all day about how like what he's doing there. People were like calling him out on his bullshit, like being an asshole and harassing people and stuff. And he's just arguing with people from Livestream Fails who don't even know who I am. So like he's still like doubling down on this, but he's doubling down on his account, but he's also backpedaling and saying like, oh well, I'm not like I'm not going to go too much more in detail on it, but yeah, he's backpedaling and arguing with people who have never even seen my stream. And like it's just bizarre that like he could have just deleted the account or just stopped using it, like, but he's still harassing me, and he's still arguing with people trying to defend himself. That's the word I was looking for. He was trying to defend himself on a Twitter account dedicated to hatred. I think as soon as he figured out that it was put on Livestream Fails, he rebranded it from like a hatred account to being like a joke account, and all the banner he had of like all the community members like standing in a line and like being friends, like just like as like something like a shit poster or whatever. He changed it to like a picture of SpongeBob. He changed the description of like send me clips of Shift getting mad and Shift cringe, Shift posts trying to dox the school that he thought I went to. He like wiped all that off, and he deleted all these tweets to make it look like he wasn't actually trying to instigate hatred against me. So again, like even though the account, even though I offered the people running the account like forgiveness, they still are defending what they did, and they're still harassing me in my own chat. And like again, like at this point, I have nothing to be mad about here. It's just silly that they just won't like come clean about it, and because I've come clean about more than I've been asked to do in the past 48 hours. I've gone back and I've discussed my whole past. I saw this as an opportunity. Now that my past is bringing it up again, now that my past is being brought up again, I use it as an opportunity to discuss the rest of my past, and you know, like things that I regret other than this one thing that I did. And even though this one thing was out of character, like I have to still like use it as an opportunity to apologize for the way I acted even before this one incident happened. I just saw it as an opportunity to fully come clean about everything I've ever done, like as a streamer and a personality and as a person in general. So that was just on me. I wanted to do that because I saw it as an opportunity to show people that I've changed over the past year, 2 years, 3 years, when the spotlight was on me. I just wanted to use it I didn't want to use it to like make excuses or anything like that, or like play the victim or whatnot. I wanted to use it as an opportunity to show people like how I've grown, not just in case they thought that the one incident, excuse me, that the one incident, sorry, I still haven't eaten yet. The one incident that happened a while ago is not reflective of who I was and who I am. It was just one incident, but I still feel like I'm responsible. I've been responsible for a while of apologizing for being so hot-headed in the past and getting instantly upset with people who would say mean things to me and responding to them in an unhealthy way. I've learned how to, again, like, obviously I was never going to use that word again after I used it that one time. I've learned how to respond to people in a healthier way in general. I feel like, I've been going on for 20 minutes now, so I'm just going to discuss the whole, like, situation for Games Done Quick. I just wanted to say that first about myself and the targeted harassment. And, I must say, though, that, like, okay, we'll talk about Games Done Quick. So, it really pains me that Games Done Quick was baited like this to make such a rash and quick response about the situation, because, again, this is so much different than, say, like, the R. White Goose situation where he was banned for, like, screenshots that surfaced, like, relatively recently, like, a few months past. And they were still, like, in their Discord server. They still had these messages that were sent still there and intact. These are things that were still out there, and they had not, they still, you know what I'm saying? Like, people on Twitter, and they were all going off about this, and there was a huge uproar about, like, what these guys were saying, and they were urging Games Done Quick to do something about it, and because they were being so pressured the event was being so pressured by these people who wanted them to be banned, they took action and they banned them. This is very different, where this is something that even when it happened a year ago, people looked at it as not a big deal, and a year later, they still looked at it as not a big deal. Obviously, I thought it was a big deal, and I wanted to use it as an opportunity to change my behavior, even though this is still a one-time incident and a mistake that I made that did not reflect who I was and am as a person. I still thought it was a big deal, but I got to emphasize that the general public reaction was not the same as this other thing where people were urging them to get the person banned. Back then, to people, they thought it wasn't a big deal, and they knew it was a mistake. And now people also, like, they not only do they know it was a mistake and they think it wasn't a big deal, they're also pretty much saying, like, it's infuriating that it's being held against me. And again, like, this isn't about me anymore. This is about the perception of the event. Like, how people generally have this stigma against Games Done Quick. They make rash calls like this. This kind of a decision is not helping them. And it sucks because, like, Games Done Quick is such a big organization for helping grow the speedrunning community. And it does not paint them or speedrunning in a positive light. And it's just kind of sad to see. And I hate that I'm being caught in the middle of it. I have people who are urging me to, like hate the event and, like, start a flame war. And I have people, like, I have Games Done Quick that I don't want, even though they haven't really, like, responded to me. Like, I mean, they responded to me on email, but they never made an announcement. They never told, like, my viewers and fans and followers that the game wouldn't be in. I had to do this all on my own. Like, despite their mistakes, I still don't want to go after them. I still don't want to start a war between these people and myself. Like, I want to help people find peace between the event and the people who are just trying to find an excuse to hate on it. Because, like, again, people are saying, like, oh, well, they were just looking for an excuse to ban you and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if that's true. I have to clarify. I don't know if that's true. I hope it's not, but I really don't think it is. What I think happened is I got James Gunn. There's a targeted hate group who dug back into my past, found something that I've very clearly moved past, and even when it happened was obviously a mistake that people had said it was not a big deal. They brought it back in my face, and they showed it to the event organizers to essentially troll them into getting me removed from the event. And that to me is just upsetting. That like I just feel like it could have I feel like it could have been handled better, man. Especially because the same enforcement team that I emailed with Twitter accounts information and that they could possibly be a danger, it's the same enforcement team that made this decision to ban me, and they likely got the report from these people. So I'm just kind of sad they couldn't, like, put two and two together there. But I just want to emphasize, like, I'm not hating on the event. I'm not saying they're a bunch of fuck ups or anything like that. Like a lot of people are saying on live stream fails and Twitter and stuff like that. I'm trying to say they made a mistake, and you guys should not, like, sure, they should be held accountable and helped. Like, people should help, like, constructive criticism, like, tell them how they can improve as an event and help speedrunning it all, like, holistically by helping them improve. But I just don't want people to get mad at them and start a flame war over it. Because even after I did make this pace spin, I did say on Twitter, like, you guys should not, like, treat them this way, because again, like, it's being hypocritical. If you want people to forgive me for something I did, you have to be willing to forgive them too. And I feel like just hating on somebody, hating on this organization is not going to make them give a response or give their thoughts on it. It's not going to make them communicate with us, because again, I've only gotten communication from the enforcement team. The Games Done Quick organization has not officially said anything on this yet, other than just removing my run from the schedule. So again, if you want the event to be more transparent, like you say you want them to be, you have to be willing to work with them. You can't just act like you're not willing to talk to them. You have to give them a chance, just like you've given me another chance back in the day when I said this. So again, like, I'm not trying to make this a pity party or for either of us, Games Done Quick or myself. I just want people to be aware of this whole cancel culture thing that's going on with, like, if you don't know already, like, it's just happening on the internet so often now, where people, this, like, targeted hatred groups or people trying to harass a person on the internet, just dig into someone's history, and pull out something that they've very clearly moved past, or a mistake they made one time that they've shown that they're not like that as a person, or they made a mistake or a poor choice of words or whatnot. They dig into someone's past and they just use it against them to try and get something that they want. It's a manipulative tactic that was not invented by this group that tried to do this to me. It was not invented by them. It still goes around. People have, like James Gunn and Disney. If you guys don't know who James Gunn is, he's the director of the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He made some jokes like 6 or 7 years ago about like making fun of pedophiles or whatever. And Disney saw this as like inappropriate, so they kicked him off the team. They basically fired him as a director. But later, after the dust settled and people stopped getting angry at Disney about this, they asked for him to come back and do the event. So again, like, getting mad about this is not the answer, guys. Like, if you want Games Done Quick, again, like, it's not for me. Like, obviously, like, I can't go to the event now, and like, it doesn't bother me if I'm banned for the next year and a half, because I can take it. Like, I understand, like, I understand, like, the situation. Like, they made a mistake, and I'm not gonna get mad at them over it, or like like any of that kind of stuff. You have to understand that if you get mad at these people and you start a flame war and make this a bigger deal, like a huge deal in like a negative, hateful way, like, they're not going to be willing to accept the mistake they made, and they're not going to be willing to change from it, because it's a corporation that can't afford to have that kind of image. It's better for them to ignore it than acknowledge it if you're going to make it into a bad thing. So make it into a constructive thing. If you want to show Games Done Quick your concern about how they decided, like, what to do in the situation, you have to do it maturely and respectfully. It can't be done, because again, if you're not doing it for me, if you're not doing it for Games Done Quick, do it for speedrunning in general. And I said this in my pace spin where I talked about all this stuff. Do it for speedrunning, do it for gaming. Show us that speedrunners and gamers are more civil and mature people than people make us out to be, because oftentimes I feel like that's not the case. People have some kind of a stigma against gamers too, and speedrunners alike, that, like, we're some of us are incapable of handling stuff like this maturely, but we can show to the speedrunning community and the gaming community in general that we are capable of handling this maturely. And even though somebody made a mistake, and the people who are responsible for it are not showing remorse or regret, or they're not accepting my forgiveness, and the opportunity to grow from it. Like that's a whole different topic. But again, I'm going off topic now. We can show the trolls, we can show the people who made this mistake that we are bigger than this and we can overcome it. That's all I wanted to say. Again, I wanted to say again, like, to those of you who have watched my stream over the past year and you've said, like, again, even though this is a mistake that I made so long ago, and even then it was still out of character, you've still taken like the initiative to improve your character over the year, and I've noticed over the past year that your stream has improved, and you would probably never make a slip up like that ever again. And people who are saying stuff like that to me, even strangers, even enemies, people I thought were my enemies in the past, they're still showing that kind of respect, and they're still like I just don't feel like, one, I feel like I don't deserve it, but two, it just makes me happy that, again, as somebody who has struggled for a long time with trying to find acceptance in the speedrun community, because even since the day I started speedrunning and my channel got a lot of attention, I just felt a lot of jealousy and hatred for the game that I chose, how much I cared about it, maybe some dumb things I said in the past. I've struggled finding acceptance in the speedrun community for a while. I felt like it was divided. Half of it was against me, half of it was with me. And it just means a lot to not only have this opportunity to come clean about how immature I used to be, just in general, but also just make up with some of the people that have in the past not only wronged me, but I've also wronged them. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for helping turn this situation into a positive thing, hopefully for everybody. I really hope that we use this as a lesson learned, that we can't, like, that mistakes happen. People make mistakes, whether it be me or corporations or even trolls. People can change. I still think that these people who did this to me are redeemable if they're willing to show it. I still think that Games Done Quick can cleanse their reputation if they are willing to change the way they handle things like this. And I think that we all can become better people. I'm living proof, I think, that you can really, even if you don't have to, take initiative to change yourself and be more positive to people around you. You may not be able to escape some of the things that, that you struggle with dealing with. Like, for me, it's like being frustrated at speedruns and getting upset with people who say mean things about the game that I play because I care so much about it and its community surrounding it. You can learn how to still, these things are a part of you, but you can learn how to handle them better and use and say things that more reflect you as a person, and learn how to better portray yourself to show people who you are. And honestly, that's really all I have to say. So thank you guys for watching this 30-minute video, this 30-minute block of just me talking about the situation. I hope that a lot of you guys, if you read the pace bin as well, I hope you made it through the whole thing. There's like an 8-hour VOD on my channel if you want to hear more of my thoughts. Like, I was streaming on my channel the day this happened, so if you want to hear more of my raw thoughts and my initial reactions, it's on there. I'll link it in the description if you're curious. I'll also link the pace bin in the description. And yeah. So thank you. Thank you for being so understanding, and this is the first time I felt like Reddit, the speedrunning community, everyone, I felt like this is the first time everyone outside of my community was on my side. I always thought it was going to be an uphill battle as a content creator, a streamer, and a personality, but it's really humbling to see people feel this way about me, despite the mistake I made a while back, and it gives me hope that anybody can receive forgiveness for something stupid they've done in the past, even in the present, and the future as well. It makes me hopeful that people can forgive. And this is what we need to do. We need to forgive. That's all I gotta say. So keep in mind, like, your actions, your words, you need to handle this maturely, and I do as well. And I'm gonna try my hardest to do so. So thank you guys. I'll see you soon. I stream every day, 10 hours a day. I'm gonna try to stream from like 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. Every day for the foreseeable future. Still kind of adjusting those times a little bit, but that's right now. That's what I'm doing. We're gonna get back into the positives. We're gonna continue with the good news. We're with the rehydrated remaster. We're gonna keep making this game better. Sub 50s around the corner for any percent. Sub 40s around the corner for NG plus. A lot of great things are happening, and we just got to start. Like, we can't be stuck in the past. We have to move forward with this. We have to move forward. There are other events we can do. There are other ways to spread the word of our great game. So thank you guys for being so understanding and so positive, looking forward with the situation. Let's keep speed running. Let's keep going fast. Thank you guys. Thank you.